Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. Always appreciate everyone that listens live or listens in the replay. And so, this is a pop up episode, episode 222, Sou Sou and Bank Secrecy Act Compliance. Uh, we're doing this episode today. It's not something that we're super excited about doing. Only from the respect that people should just thank us, so people aren't going to get frauded out and actually go to jail for something that they thought they were doing right by. They thought they were doing the best that they could. In the age of desperation, instead of inspiration, people are making desperate moves to make money and capital. And so today's episode is going to be episode 222, Sou Sou and Bank Secrecy Act Compliance. It's the $10,000 rule. And this is just going to be really brief because this is an episode for people that are participating in these things called Sou Sous. We actually had some people contact us, even two people just contacted us today about this silliness because it's silly. There's quite a few people that are doing it on lower levels, but then you get these people that want to talk the big numbers. They want to talk the numbers of, oh, you can make $11,000. And that's when we started throwing up our red flag because at the vault, when we talk about privacy, we know about what privacy is. And we're going to talk about that in this episode. How the Sou Sou's not private if you're wiring money through the internet. Now, some people may say, well, can you wire money through the internet? Sure, you're doing the wires through the bank and the internet. But we're going to go ahead and talk about it from the factual perspective of not emotionally just trying to get some extra money. Because that's not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why it works so well in the islands is because they don't have banks as prevalent as they do in the States. So the African Americans in the States, they think they're slick. They're going to pass the money through the bank accounts. Well, guess what? All you did was give yourself up. And we're going to share how you gave yourself up. So for the ones that's doing it on the lower level, because somebody tells us today, oh, well, you could do $125, $150. And then we're going to move to the $50 hand, the $500 hand. And then you're going to move to the $1,600 hand. And you're going to get $11,000 supposedly at the end of this. Now, quite a few people have reported that they got some money. So we're not saying that they not going to get your money. Oh, you're going to get your money. But let's talk about when you get more than $10,000 in one single transaction in the bank. The things that these so-called African Americans who are participating in this Sou Sou that works so well for our brothers and sisters and cousins in the islands because they're underbanked. Let's talk about what happens when you start moving money like that through the bank. What happens? So if you don't know about the Bank Secrecy Act, we're going to talk about the Bank Secrecy Act. The Bank Secrecy Act states that any person who receives more than $10,000 in cash in a single transaction or a series of transactions, so you thought you were slick, you thought you was going to get through with a few of them, it must be reported and the exchange to the IRS. Hold on. I thought you were trying to get extra money. Yeah, you were trying to get extra money, but you just made a profit. Not only did you make a profit, you did it through the bank. So you got to comply with the Bank Secrecy Act. The rule states that any person who receives more than $10,000 in a single cash transaction or a series of cash transactions must report the exchange to the IRS. This includes businesses as well as individuals who exchange in a transaction that results in a transfer of cash so long as the payment is over $10,000. So for all you all that are in it to win it for the $11,000 payoff, what is the payoff? What does the payment look like? It's either over $10,000. It's received as a lump sum of over $10,000. It's two or more related payments in excess of $10,000 combined. So you thought you was going to break it down. Payments received, there's another one. Payments received as a part of a single transaction or two or more related transactions that exceed more than $10,000 in a 12-month period. Number 3, received in the course of trade or business, or from another person, the payer, or received in a single transaction, or two or more related transactions. Ladies and gentlemen, this money has to be reported. You're not going to get off because you did it through the bank. So that's how you know you don't know what you're doing. So when people contact the vault and say, hey, you're going to participate in the hand at the Sou Sou, ladies and gentlemen, the Sou Sou isn't bad for the Caribbean and the brothers and sisters down there that are underbanked. But the brothers and sisters in the United States, oh yeah. Well, do you even know about suspicious activity reports? Ladies and gentlemen, do you know about that? This is what the vault knows. Is the money coming directly to you in your name? Or is it going to a business? Own not trust Christian. Own nothing, control everything. You got some leeway with the business. But oh no, no. Everybody wanted the fast money. They wanted the quick money. The only reason we doing this episode is because we know it's a whole bunch of brothers and sisters that just got an SAR put on them and they don't even know it. Why would the bank tell you they put an SAR out on you? You're not in compliance with the Bank Secrecy Act. You never had more than a $10,000 transaction go through your bank account at one time, and all of a sudden now you think you're about to come up and it's gonna go to your bank account? That's where we are nowadays. Ignorance is bliss. Isn't that the saying? That's the saying, ladies and gentlemen. It's that simple. These monetary instruments will be considered cash if the business or actual knowledge that the payer is trying to avoid the reporting of the transaction. The Bank Secrecy Act compliance mandates that the reportable transaction be reported to the IRS no later than 15 days from the date that the cash was received. Reporting is done on IRS Form 8300. If payments are made, the form must be filled out and reported 15 days after the last payment that pushed the amount above $10,000 threshold. If this occurs more than once in a calendar year, Form 8300 must be submitted. The payer must be notified that the transaction will be reported to the IRS. Notification must be done by writing by the next calendar year of January 31. Here we go. You want to know? The current penalty is $100 per incident of failure to file. For a business that exceeds $5 million in gross revenue, if the failure is corrected on or before 30 days after the filing, the penalty is $30, with the annual ceiling of $250,000. If the IRS determines the failure to file was intentional, the penalties are stiff. For each incident of intentional failure to file, the penalty is greater than $25,000, or the amount of the transaction up to $100,000, whichever is greater. Wow. And how many people thought they were just going to make a quick buck? It's some extra money. You're right. Ladies and gentlemen, we had people come to us today about this silliness. Oh, you put in $1,500, it goes around, and you're going to make over $10,000. As soon as we knew it went over 99999, we already knew what was going to happen. Because you were using a bank. Would you transfer $1,500 through Cash App? That's still through your bank. Yes, they know. So you can share this with all your friends and all your family that thought that they was going to get around the Bank Secrecy Act when the bank is sitting there watching these transactions right now. And the sad part about it is they got a specific culture, because this is a culture that participates in this type of activity, because it started in its origination and its major growth and use is in the islands. Who lives in the islands? African indigenous descent people. That's who. It's time for brothers and sisters to wise up and rise up and stop being so foolish to make fast money, quick money. And the worst part of all is you did it through the bank. And you did it in your name. Trust Christian, know not to control everything. We're here for a couple more seconds or minutes. Feel free to type into the chat. But this is it, ladies and gentlemen. We already know what's going on. And we just got to go ahead and put this out there for the record. We're going to share this on a few platforms because this is a joke. This is utter buffoonery. This is where people are nowadays because they're getting government funds. If you weren't getting government funds, you might not be so desperate because you'd be focused on creating something. Bottom line. Appreciate you all for tuning in live, listening to replay. Share this with your friends and family. At least share it with them, the Bank Secrecy Act, so they can know how to protect themselves. Trust Christian. Own nothing, control everything. Thank you for listening to The Vault.